Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Nick.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Katie's here.
Good morning. Also, I said earlier, but I am tired. I need to wake up. So it'll happen eventually.
Keep drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Today is 9/11.
Tis.
Yep. Gal is still in Canada. I mean, found out that he went for 2 weeks, not for 1 week.
Is he in Canada or Alaska?
I mean, Alaska. Canada. Hey, you know, it's up there.
Yeah. It's all the same.
There's got to be a secret or something because I've heard multiple people, they go on vacation and now they're in Alaska and I'm like, what? There's something in Alaska. Do I need to go to Alaska? Am I missing out? Like,
There was only one way to know.
I know I'm gonna have to go. Maybe
I'll do some travel deals for specials next week. We'll get some,
totally. It's like
the RDU.
Feyland, or like you go to visit and then you get stuck there because everybody seems to just like disappear into Alaska.
That's funny.
So what is happening? Oh, Nick, can we talk about what you did Friday?
Yeah.
So Nick was on a show on UNC TV in what was it?
Front Row.
The Front
is
Row.
The name of the show. And yeah, I had the opportunity to be a guest panelist on that on Friday, and turned out pretty well.
Is it available to watch online that you know of anywhere?
Yep. Just search for Front Row PBSNC and you'll find the video.
Okay.
And all of that. So yeah, just do a search for that and you can check it out.
All right.
Yeah, good time.
Yep, it was very nice. It was very nice. And you should see the guy talking with all these big shots. Nick is very, very confident in what he's talking about. He knows his stuff.
That remains to be seen. We'll verdict is still out on that.
Let's see. Katie, do you want to say something? Anything?
Yeah, two things. One, I'm gonna show off this thing that I got. It's like a wrist support thing for when you use the computer, so you wear it, and it's got little beans on here. So I know they have mouse pads that have the cushion for your wrist, but this one's a one that attaches to your wrist, and I want to give it a go because I jump between multiple systems. Like I've got a laptop and then I've got my computer, and so I have like multiple workstations sharing the same desk. And so trying to use one of those mobile wrist things, that mouse pads, can be really annoying. So I'm gonna give this a go and see how it is. But my mom actually picked it up from Walmart for me, so I'm gonna test it out.
Yeah,
see how it
that's
goes.
to help to avoid carpal tunnel.
Yeah. Also, too, the laptops that I have to use for my workstation for client stuff, uh, they're really annoying to use. I'm just on there. This is me miming my wrist laying on the laptop. And so after doing that for hours, I know somebody's gonna be like, well, why don't you hook it up to this, that, and other thing? And I'm like, I could, but I don't.
Huh?
So, but I'll try that out. And
Yeah,
then the second thing I wanted to ask, this might be a little off topic, but I wanted to discuss AI automation and bots because AI has gotten to the point now where it's accessible to the common man, I guess you could say, where they're like marketing it now for casual users like me. And so I've been really deep diving into AI imaging. Like I'm sure some people may have seen an AI called Midjourney that builds images and illustrations. And it's absolutely amazing. Like I got addicted to it, and I even subscribed to it because I'm an artist, so it like speeds up my art process 1,000%. Because it'll build this image, and some of the stuff will look weird. Like it has a hard time with faces. Like there'll be a third eye, or maybe 10 ears instead of two. There'll be an arm in a weird place, so I have to go in and like draw over it or whatever. But it's amazing. But it also got me down this rabbit hole of AI. They're calling it AI bots and automating processes on your computer. And I want to know which ones are legit. Like I saw an ad for Axiom.ai. I think I'm saying that right. And it's a website where you build bots essentially to automate process stuff that you do, I guess, on the web browser all the time. And a lot of it was like, what do they call it? It's like scraping information, getting data. Um,
Yeah, scraping the screen for data, like scraping names and stuff like that right off the screen. Yeah.
yeah, but what I would love to do is, so I use Photoshop a lot, and I have like an Etsy store or a digital store. And so what I would like to do is figure out a way to automate. Maybe I get like a screen clicker, or is that a thing where you get a bot that can click on the screen? Because you can
Yeah.
on.
So let's let's start with this. What are you go through the process of what you're trying to automate?
Okay, so I am gonna do, or I'm trying to do print on demand products.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
so that means I have a piece of artwork. It's a digital file. I upload it to this company that prints stuff on a bunch of different things like wall art, posters, mugs, whatever. And they've uh, they've integrated their services into shop or third party um, shop websites. So like you could hook it up to your Spotify, you could hook it, not Spotify, Shopify, or you could hook it up to your Etsy. So in my case, I hooked it up to my Etsy. Oh my gosh, so hard to talk. And so I go on. I think it's called. I think I'm using Printful, but there's a bunch of different companies that do this. But you upload your artwork to the print on demand company's website or whatever, and then it hooks up to your Etsy or whatever your shop is, and it auto populates it or it sends it to Etsy, which is great. But the thing that's annoying is that they have mock-up sizes images, and it'll transfer the images over, but they're not organized. They're not exactly the images I want to use to look like stock photos. So what I could do on the print on demand website is I can download all of the images that they made for the mock-ups and then upload them into Photoshop and tweak them the way I want to tweak them, and then I need to re-upload them to Etsy. So what I would love to figure out is how to connect the Printify, like, because there's a place where you could click download all photos and it'll download all the photos, and then I want to open it in Photoshop, and then I could set up there's things called Photoshop Actions, where it has a thing where it records you clicking on the screen in Photoshop with buttons, and so you set up process. So like if you're resizing images, you could set up a process for it, and that's basically what I want to do is set up an action or process for it, and then I want to have it upload to the Etsy. So that was long and convoluted, but going between 3 different websites.
So let's I think it's important to note a couple of different things here. Automation and AI are not necessarily the same thing. And what you're describing is automation.
Okay.
Right? It's not learning. It doesn't need to learn. You're going to tell it what to do. You're going to tell it, this is what you need. These are the actions inside of Photoshop. You're just looking for I say simple, but you're just looking for basic automation. It's not machine learning where it's going to, automatically, like as you mentioned with that other service where it's creating the image. You tell it to, I want to see this, and it makes it. That's machine learning. There are a couple of different ways to go about it. You mentioned some sort of screen clicker. That is a way to do it, but depending on the service and what it is, they might have an API that does some of this stuff automatically. So you need to essentially download files. Is it in a zip, or does it come as independent photos?
I think it comes in a zip folder. Yeah.
So you would need to download a zip, uncompress the zip, and then automatically import it into Photoshop. There is I will send you a link to a piece of software that might help with that process.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard the term API, and that kind of scares me because it's like I have to make my own code or something to access it, and I think we've gotten to the point where a lot of companies or a lot of people I will pay money if somebody else has figured out how to do this to buy their software or buy whatever, because I don't want to have to figure it out. I was gonna say something else and I don't remember what it is. What's it? So I know what I was describing is basically bots. And I play video games on my computer, and a lot of the video game companies are banning people that have like bot software on their computer. But how do they check that? So this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to get into doing these bot things for my Etsy store that has nothing to do with video games. But then they see the software on my computer and they're like, nope, you're using bots, ban.
I don't think that's going to happen because you're not going to be using bot software. The stuff you're doing is not really like it. It sounds complex, but it's really not. It's downloading a file, unzipping a file, and importing a file.
It's almost like a script.
It would be a script, correct? Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any sort of actual automation in terms of like teaching it how to click and do things. But to answer your question, most of these games are using anti-cheat software like Punkbuster or damn it, what are the other ones? There's a whole bunch of these softwares that the game developers use to handle anti-cheat, and it checks your system for various applications that might be running that could be an exploit, and tags them as potentially a problem.
But that's the key. If they're running, I mean, you can have.
This software is very matured, I guess would be the word to use. So if it might be risky to even have it installed, I don't know. I haven't played.
That's exactly what I'm scared of because
but you're not going to be using any of that stuff anyway.
Yeah, but well, I am considering like a click thing because I'm going through so many softwares or whatever, and I'm thinking maybe it's just easy if I have these windows open and I tell it to click where it needs to click because
you could do that too.
Gonna move. But then I don't want, you know what? Maybe the easiest solution instead of worrying about it is that I get a second computer or like a cheap second computer, like a laptop, like from one of your Slick deals or whatever they're called. And I could just have the automated process on that, but then use my actual computer for gaming so they never cross.
You could do it all. You could just spin up a virtual machine and do it in there.
But how do they check you? Don't they check and know you by your IP?
No,
it'll be the same. Okay,
it's unique. That stuff is done uniquely on using hardware ID.
Okay,
is how their unique identifiers.
A virtual. Okay, you're gonna have to send me links to virtual. I didn't even think about that, like virtual machine, but thingies.
Yeah, if you've got the resources to run a VM, that's a good way to do that.
Oh my gosh, this all sounds complicated. Okay, send me all the things. I will learn all the new things.
I'll send you all of the things. Have no fear.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
All right. All right. So let's see what happened this week in the news. What?
You got to open about iPhone, no?
I don't have anything about the iPhone, but you can go ahead.
This is a computer show and you don't have anything about Apple announcing a new iPhone?
That didn't sound like it would be interesting to anybody.
Well-
I mean, I was reading a few of them. They said that they're going to take out.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we got to open with Apple and the new
okay.
iPhone.
All right.
It just seems to be.
I do have one story about it.
Okay.
It goes, Apple announced that all iPhone 14 models sold in the U.S. do not have a built-in SIM card tray.
Yep.
And instead rely entirely on eSIM technology.
Yeah. So let's go through some of the details on this. So Apple announced 4 new phones this past week: the iPhone 14, the iPhone 14 Plus, the iPhone 14 Pro, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So the 14 and the 14 Pro are one set, and then the Pro Max and then the Plus are the different size variations of it. So 2 different variations of iPhone there. There is not a huge, there's not a huge increase in what these phones do over the prior devices. They're using the new A15 chip for the iPhone 14. So that is that. They say it's an 18% improvement over the iPhone 13 in terms of performance. Now, those are, of course, synthetic benchmarks. Real life performance is not necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm.
They claim that the device has got better battery life. It's got dual 12 megapixel lenses. But it's not necessarily a huge upgrade. A lot of tech bloggers are opining to the fact of, if you've got an older phone, unless you're needing one of these, unless there's a specific feature or something that you're looking for, like emergency SOS, which I'll get into in a minute, you're better off buying an iPhone 13 on discount when those go down in price. So, not the biggest iPhone announcement that they've ever done, but nevertheless a new phone for them. Yeah,
and what about the difference in the prices between the different models? Is there a big difference in the price?
Same. It's same scheme and pricing structure that the current iPhone 13 has. So no changes there. It's a very, very similar device. But yeah, new iPhones out. I think the pre-order started, and I think they're out here in a couple weeks. So
you might want to hold off on getting the new iPhone because they're not including the charger with the iPhone 14, and so Brazil's actually banning the sale of iPhone 14s because they're saying that it's an incomplete product, which I agree. Like, why are they taking away these things? Like, you need a charger to charge your phone.
Well, it's I guess the question is now, how do you, if you already have an iPhone, do you really use the charger that comes with the new phone?
Yes, because I tell you, because Apple's products, their chargers specifically, are notorious for breaking at the plug-in part. Like the wires always like fray and fall apart.
Why are you using their chargers?
Well, because I bought third-party chargers off of Amazon or whatever.
Is it original?
No. We're talking about no. I'm not. Katie's right. The Apple chargers are garbage. But that's my point. Is like for me, I've got third-party chargers that I purchased, and I just use those.
Yeah, but why do I have to pay extra for a charger when it should come with the appliance? Like
Uh,
it,
it's a valid point.
like I don't care if it's a piece of crap. I paid for it, but now I'm not going to be able to use this electronical device because I don't have a way to power it. Like that doesn't come with it. Like that it doesn't matter what company it is. That's just BS. So, and unless I'm missing something, maybe there's a new technology that maybe you don't need a wire to charge it anymore or whatever. But
But you
like,
don't. But that's still no. Your point is still valid. I mean,
you
it's
know,
just
I agree
What
with Brazil. Like this is a technical device that requires electricity to use it. Like, and I don't like, and I have to spend extra money to get. Now, if the phone was like $200 off that and it didn't have a charger, sure, that's fine. But it's not. So you're still paying $1,500 or whatever it is for this phone, and it doesn't come with. It comes with less stuff than it did before.
Okay, now I don't own one, but I did get Kathy an iPad, and it came with a charger. And I put it
Mhm.
on the side, and I put one of them because we use everything that we have phones and things like that. They have those magnetic converters, adapters, so you don't have to unplug and plug, unplug and plug. And Hannah came by and she looked at the iPad and she said, "So where's the charger?" I said, "Oh, it's there in the box." She said, "Dad, why aren't you using it?" I said, "Why? I have these things." She said, "Yeah, but this one is the original one is so much faster."
Correct.
Why?
Because the charger that came with the iPad is a higher amperage charger because the battery is bigger and it takes the device longer to charge.
Okay. Hmm, all right.
I don't care what it is. If whatever product, if I'm spending all this money and then they come out with a new one and I'm spending all this money again, but I get less stuff, then I'd be ticked off.
Yeah, but
And then,
they did this in the past, and the iPhones don't. The iPhones come with the cable. They no longer come with the brick. That started a couple of years ago. Now they don't even come with the cable.
mm, the brick, uh, yeah, yeah,
I mean, no, I'm saying I think they're very equivalent. I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
great, great. You can plug your iPhone into your computer, and if the argument is, oh well, people already have bricks, then I would make the argument, then they already have Lightning chargers, which they likely do.
Yeah, no,
So
Is it
I
I
agree.
think they kind of test marketed this with the brick,
Hmm.
got rid of the brick. Nobody really seemed to care, at least not for my. I don't think iPhone sales dropped because of it. And then they're like, all right, well then screw. We're just not going to include the charger either.
Hmm.
And if
Yeah,
anything, this is great news for third parties.
Yeah.
yeah,
This is great news for these. Well, and unfortunately, it's just Chinese companies, but it's that's great news for them. Big, kind of revitalizing the market.
either way, I don't like it.
No, I agree. I couldn't agree with you more.
There was some article that I came across about this, and Samsung talking about the new iPhone, and they say we measure our batteries by months, not by hours.
Yeah, yeah. If Samsung was smart, they would capitalize on this thing, on this wire issue, and they would come out with like a social media ad that says, buy the new Galaxy whatever phone, and it comes with a wire. It comes with a charger. Like make it like a big deal that it comes with the charger.
Uh,
Unlike our competitors, that it's like a sad apple. Like that would be really funny.
One of the cool things that the iPhone 14 does come with is a new transceiver for satellite. So they have come out with a service that they call Emergency SOS. And the way that it works is when you are in an area in which there is no cell phone connectivity, you have no edge, no 4G, no 5G, none of those cell bands available, the iPhone can connect to a satellite. So there's a little guide that will help you try to point and get the best coverage of the satellite. And what it will allow you to do is call an emergency service when there's no
No coverage.
cell connectivity available. It'll also work with Find My iPhone, so that if somebody is lost or abducted or kidnapped or something like that, and they've got their phone on them and it can just barely get satellite coverage, it will ping with that as well. Unlike what we heard from SpaceX and T-Mobile a couple of days ago, a couple weeks ago, I should say, where there's going to be some limited bandwidth, like a megabit or two. This is not for data. This will do a emergency SOS phone call and a text message that it will relay to first responders. So this will be available in the US and Canada. It will have a cost associated with it, but for people that buy an iPhone 14, you get 2 years of it free. They haven't announced what the cost is going to be. I would guess that maybe they won't end up charging for it, depending on how much it's used or not. But I think that's kind of a neat feature.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's, again, like you said, it's not for calling mom.
No, well,
It's-
yeah, it's not. It won't do any of that.
Right.
It is specifically for, I'm hiking, I don't have cell service, I fell and broke my leg, I need help.
Yeah.
So be
So-
interesting. And I'm sure there will be a story in a couple of months. Apple will probably have PIs out in the woods and kneecap some hiker, and then have them use the iPhone, and this big press story about how this lady's life was saved by Apple, some bullshit like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Unfortunately, she's gonna try to call SOS, but her phone's gonna die because she didn't have a charger. If only they came with a charger.
If only she had a charger in the middle of
Yeah.
the of
Yeah.
the mountains.
Yeah.
So what's that deal with the eSIM?
eSIMs
will-
have been popular for years now.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is.
So-
Your carrier provisions the phone through a virtual SIM.
So you
No
don't need
physical
to
SIM
go and change and get a new SIM from a new carrier.
There's no way to. There's no slot.
Yeah.
There's no physical SIM cards, which is great. The SIM card is such an antiquated thing.
Technology.
There's no reason. And eSIMs have been popular for years, and they're very popular in Europe. iPhones have supported this for a while. For example, a lot of folks that maybe have a company that will offer them a cell phone. Many companies will allow them to do an eSIM instead. So your iPhone can have a physical, like my iPhone, whatever this is, can have a physical SIM card, which it does, and then it can also have an eSIM, maybe from my employer if they provide me a work.
Yeah, you
cell
can
phone.
have. They say you can have two accounts.
Correct. So that's what it allows you. That's what you can do with this. So it allows you to run with multiple SIM cards, which is pretty cool.
Wait a minute. Dual accounts. Does that mean you get 2 phone numbers?
Yeah, 2 phone numbers. Yep.
Oh, good for my second family life that nobody knows about.
Yeah,
All
you
for
will have
one
to pay
phone.
another $40 a month through
Yeah.
another cell phone provider.
Right.
But yeah, you do get the eSIM thing.
Yeah, but they're saying that it's that they have website has a list of all the eSIMs technology, that support for eSIMs technology around the world, and in the U.S. it includes AT&T, T-Mobile, US Cellular, Verizon, Xfinity Mobile, Boost Mobile, H2O Wireless, Straight Talk, C Spire, and some others. So most of the big guys and some of the smaller ones. Yeah, and also the SIM card. I don't know about you guys, but I remember we had some problems with the SIM card. That the phone starts misbehaving, and you go to. That's when I had Verizon, and you go to the Verizon store, and they say, "Oh yeah, your SIM is going bad," and they give you a new one.
Yeah.
But if you were somewhere where there is no Verizon store while you're like hiking or something, and the SIM goes bad and the phone stops working, that's a problem.
Yeah, SIMs don't typically go bad. there's not much to them.
Well,
So that's a very, very sporadic issue. Um, but yeah, it's one less thing that needs to be purchased and
maintain.
managed and sent, and it's just and it is I will agree with you, it is one less point of failure.
And it doesn't the SIM card holds some of information that you store?
Not anymore. I mean,
No?
not unless
Oh,
you're no, I mean it
okay.
did 15 years ago. It's your SIM
Yeah.
card used to store contacts and stuff like that. Not
Right.
anymore. No.
All right. So yeah, so iPhone has that, and apparently other phones have that too.
Well, the
I
iPhone has
remember.
already supported eSIMs for a while. That's not new. It's just that it no longer has a physical SIM card slot at all.
Um, Eleanor is asking, what do you hear about the new flip phones that are coming out?
I can't tell if that's a facetious question or not.
No, no. I mean, it's. I
Well, it
mean, a
might be.
lot of people are looking into this because there was a problem with Samsung when they came out with this. Samsung was the first one, and Eleanor, I'm assuming
It's
that
the
you're
first one. The
talking
first one for what?
for flip phone, a smartphone that the
Oh,
screen actually folds. Are you talking
Mhm.
about just a simple phone like the old days phone, Eleanor, or are you talking about those new ones that the screen folds in half? Because Samsung has had a problem with it to begin with. They fixed it, and now some other companies are coming up with the same thing. It's. I mean, I looked at one, and when you open it, it looks just like a regular phone. But it's again, it's something else that you're asking for trouble. There's something else that could break, something else that could malfunction. Um, and the phone, it seems like the phone that I was looking at, which one it was, but it wasn't that small.
Well, they have I think it's called the Z Flip.
Yeah.
That one is like the regular size smartphone, and it folds like a old flip phone, so then it becomes like just like a square size, so it gets pretty small. The one that I'm actually interested in is I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one that you see the ads for where it's like this big and it folds into the size of a regular phone, so it's
Oh,
basically double the screen. I use my smartphone for reading and entertainment and stuff like that, so I always go for the biggest phone. Like, I've got an iPhone Pro Max, and so people are like, "Well, why don't you have a tablet as your phone?" Ha ha ha. And I'm like, "Don't tempt me, because I will one day." So I almost ended up getting one, but it was like ridiculously expensive at the time. And if they can just come down in price, then maybe I'll consider that for my next phone. But it looks cool.
John is saying, I want a phone with a physical keyboard like the old ones,
Like a BlackBerry?
like a Blackberry.
Yeah.
Go to eBay. That's going to be your best bet.
Dude, I still have my phone, the last phone I had before I got a smartphone. It is the best phone. It is so satisfying. It's one that is like this, and then when you use it, the screen slides up and it reveals a keyboard.
Oh,
Is it a Sony?
that's the Motorola.
Oh, it was even now I still have the phone and I'll find it every now and then or
Yep.
whatever, like when I'm cleaning, and I'll just do that motion. It was so satisfying. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, if we could get one of those phones that has a slide, maybe again, if it's like your smartphone and then it slides out a keyboard, I'm for it. I'm with that person. Yep, let's do it.
Yeah, I remember getting that because in the beginning, uh, I needed something that I could use as a terminal, and it was a whole lot easier to use the keyboard to connect to the servers and do things on the
Mhm.
phone when I was out. So it was a neat phone.
Ugh,
It
I
was kind
loved
of
it.
small, but it
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
yeah,
but it was perfect. I love and
yeah.
you know what they need to add to phones now that they took away and it makes me angry is they used to have a little gap in the phone for charms, or you could thread a thread
Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on, Katie.
No, I need it. It takes up no space. Like it was like at the top, and there was like a little hole, and you threaded the thing, and then I used to have dangly things on my phone.
Are you
going to
ask for a Kensington lock on it next too, so you can lock it into a desk so it can't move?
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, but it sounds.
You know the little hole that they have on the laptop, the little like lock hole. You've seen that?
No. I was gonna say maybe.
It's on every.
No.
It's on every computer. So all right. So here you go. Here is this thing is shipping this month. This is the Pro 1X. That is being made by a company called FX Tech. FXTEC is the company that's making this, and it appears to have the thing that you're looking for. It can run Android, Ubuntu Touch, or Lineage. It's got a little pop-up keyboard, so you can multitask and use the physical keyboard. So
I love it. I'm gonna get one unless it's.
No, you're not. See, that's the problem. Nobody wants to buy these things.
How much I can't read it. What does it say? How much does it cost?
I don't know. Let's look. I have to pre-order it.
I'm not. Can you lock
$829? So for the
lock Nick's screen so that it stops jumping to me.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, $829 for this.
It's cheaper than an iPhone.
It's also not anywhere near as powerful as an iPhone.
Oh,
too much trouble, Katie.
Get on it, Apple and Samsung. I swear, whoever comes out with that first, that isn't this third-party company, I'm on it. They have my business.
They're not going to do it. There's no market for it.
But
everybody says they want it.
Excuse me.
There's not. You just admitted you're not going to buy this thing.
Yeah, because I was until you told me that it's not as powerful as my iPhone. That
it's not. Well, okay, so you're telling me if it was as powerful as your iPhone, you'd spend $800 on it.
Yeah. It's still cheaper than the phone if I could get this phone, this size phone, and it has like that slidey keyboard, yes.
You're gonna have to use Android though.
I don't care.
Okay. Well then you should get this.
Yeah, but you said it's not as powerful.
Well, it's not as powerful as the most recent iPhone that just came out, but it's got a whole bunch of great features. It's got Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.1, 802.11ac. I mean, it's not like some old piece of garbage. But it runs Android. So
there you go, Katie.
Well, too bad I just bought my new iPhone last year. Give it a few more years.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it always happens.
Listen, if I spent $1,200 on this new iPhone, if I spent another $800 in less than a year, that's $2,000 on phones, and I'm like, no.
You mean to tell me that Apple, in all their infinite wisdom, never created a keyboard for an iPhone?
It's probably not elegant. It's like.
Well, that's the problem with this is that you have to make it out of like a cheap plastic to do this.
Yeah.
I bet you that phone feels incredibly cheap and the build quality is not great. And that's not because it's a bad company or they suck. It's just because of what you're trying to do. Inherently, you have to use like a cheaper plastic to do it. You can't do glass and aluminum like the iPhone is doing.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Because I was gonna say that cell phone I was talking about that had the keyboard, it's sturdy. Like it still works. Like I could turn it on.
It's sturdy, but it's way thicker than
thicker and it's heavier. Yeah, it's heavy.
Thicker, heavier, and it's not. It doesn't. It's not even a smartphone.
It doesn't fit Apple's aesthetic. Definitely.
Yeah. And I don't think it'll still work.
It works.
It was 2G, I believe. It was in the early days.
Oh, I mean, I don't use it as a cell phone,
yeah.
But I turned it on recently, like when the past year to look at like because I had photos on there from college and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's funny because the screen's like the size of a quarter. Like it's so itty bitty. I'm like an old person. I have to pull my glasses down. I'm like,
there you go. John is saying the keyboard you can use. Just use a Bluetooth keyboard.
Oh my gosh, no.
There you go, Katie.
One of that little keyboards like we got, Nick.
Yeah, here you go, Katie. This is your solution for your iPhone.
Yeah, but it's not attached.
No, it's not.
Like,
yeah, well, it is. Let me go. I can go grab some duct tape, and you can go ahead and attach it. There you go.
awful,
Get
awful.
a rubber band. You could use a rubber band
at
system.
that point, I'm gonna carry a backpack, and it's gonna have a
Look at this.
monitor, and it's gonna
Wow.
have
Look at that.
headphones and
Holy
everything.
moly!
See, why?
It's a-
See that? Yeah, well, Apple, Samsung, do that.
How much? You know what? I feel I got to do everything here. I guarantee you, somebody makes a case like that. iPhone case with keyboard. Keyboard sliding. Yep. See if I can find a video of it.
Yeah, but it's a hot garbage.
Why?
Yes, of course it's going to be hot garbage. Absolutely, yes.
Why?
See?
Because it's cheap,
It's
shiny
cheap.
shit.
Yeah, okay, but it'll
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, for once or twice,
Uh,
and then you put it into your pocket too hard, and it breaks.
yeah, Katie,
man.
forget about it. You can't have something like that.
Yeah, I mean here it is. I mean this is on an older iPhone, but obviously as you can see, since the fact that this did not come to broad appeal and mass market, it obviously didn't hit home with enough people. So
Yeah.
everybody says they want, nobody will actually use because it can't be done. This is where you straddle the line between can it be done? Yes. Can it be done well? Yes. And then the cost.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And
is
most
there
people
demand?
will want two of the three. They want it done and they want it done well. They don't want the cost. Because of course, who the hell wants to spend? I mean, would you spend $300 on a phone case, Katie? I sure as hell wouldn't.
It depends. I'm more like a practical person in the sense that I'm not gonna get it for aesthetic reasons, but if it helps me with the function that I'm looking for, then yeah, I would consider it. But again, if I'm dropping $300 on something, it has to function the way I want it to. It has to last, and
Yeah, and at $300 it probably would, but the R&D for developing something like that is just it can't. It's not lucrative for anybody.
mhm. No, yeah, I don't.
That's
I
the
don't
sad
think,
reality of this stuff.
yeah, I don't. I definitely don't think a company is actually like Apple or Samsung is actually gonna make like a keyboard thing, but it would be nice.
But a third party could,
yeah,
but they don't because
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
there cannot be there's no way there's a use case for it.
Yeah. I want.
Want a charger with my phone.
Anyway,
Oh, here you go, kid. You can get a foldable pocket keyboard. That should-
Whoa, living in the future.
Yeah, here you go. It's called the iClever.
Ugh, I hate that name. I don't.
It's got a trackpad. Oh yeah, this is hot stuff. Oh yeah,
Hey,
right in your pocket.
you should start a new segment that is like called "Shit You Don't Need but Sounds Cool."
That's what Specials is.
Oh,
That's exactly what Specials has been for the past couple of months.
you say that though, but I dropped some money on some good stuff. Like I got that speaker and I got the keyboard, which I still haven't opened yet. But
So did I. This is my last week we talked about Z-Wave devices, the Zeus sale, and this
Yeah.
is the outdoor 2 outlet Z-Wave controllable outdoor plug. So I got this. This came in the mail this week. Haven't set it up yet. I'll do that come
now.
Halloween time. What?
You do the special. Come now.
I could do the specials come now.
Yeah.
Give me
No.
a second to put my device back together. Let's take a look at specials. So obviously both of our friends are still in Alaska, so it was only fitting to put a computer game here. This is Cabela's Big Game Hunter, the 10th anniversary Alaska edition. If you keep scrolling down, Amnon, there you go. You can see this PC-ROM game for Spence and Gal, who are still hanging out in the wild west of Alaska. All right, let's get into specials on this Sunday. We'll start it off over at Target with a Vizio television. I have 3 Vizios. The oldest one I have is actually sitting behind me on the floor right now, and it is from 2000 and I believe 11. And it's not a smart TV. It's a very early, not a very early, but an early flat screen television. It's big, it's bulky, it's got S video and VGA and DVI. I've had this thing for over a decade. It's traveled all over the country with me, and it is still a beast. I have all Vizio televisions in my house, and I love them. Here's a V Series 65-inch 4K HDR smart TV. The Vizio smart TV isn't amazing, but for just a TV in a bedroom or an office, it suffices enough. It's got Netflix and YouTube and Disney Plus and all of that stuff. If you're looking for real smart TV functionality, you're going to get an Amazon Fire Stick, which I've got later on in the specials, or Roku anyway, but it is nice that it has it for just basic stuff. It's normally $629. You save $180 over at Target. For $449, you can pick up this Vizio at Target. Next up, I put this one in here for a specific reason. We talk a lot about Home Assistant and Plex and running things that is good for a separate computer, a home server. I found this morning. This is a Dell Optiplex 550. Now, this is not a new computer by any stretch of the imagination. It does have a Core i5. It's 6th generation. It's also got 8 gigs of RAM and a 256 gigabyte SSD. This is a Dell refurbished, renewed. And it's just $114. So if you're looking to maybe dive into Home Assistant or a basic Plex server or Docker or some of the things that Gal and I have talked about, this is a great way to get into it. $100 is you're in the door. It comes with Windows. So if you don't want to run Linux and you want to run this stuff on Windows, you're getting Windows 10 Pro and a whole computer for $114. And it's on Amazon. So you can check this out for $114. Make for a nice, good first home server. Or if you're looking for a cheap computer for a business purpose or something like that, you can check this out. It does have serial for connecting this to older devices that still use serial. So kind of a multi-use case here, but couldn't pass up $114, and that's over at Amazon. Next up, if you're looking to revitalize an older computer, maybe it's a laptop or a desktop, an SSD is definitely the way to go. You can get a couple more years out of a computer by just throwing an SSD in it. Team Group has got their AX2 Advanced solid state drive. This is a 2.5 inch, so it will not fit. It's not an M.2. It's a full size 2.5 inch drive. This is a 512 gigabyte SSD for just $30. And I know Amnon, the idea that the 512 SSD is just $30 is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. This is a nice device. It's running, I think it's SATA 4 maybe, or SATA 3. So it'll do up to 540 megabytes worth of read, 490 megabytes worth of write. They've got different sizes available, all the way from 256 gigs to 2 terabytes. But this 512 is just $30, and it'll really bring life and breathe life back into a computer. That's also at Amazon. Continuing at Amazon is this cool little device. Now, I will note that this Philips Hue Dusk to Dawn motion sensor requires a Hue hub or a Zigbee hub. So you already have to be in the Philips ecosystem. And what you would do with this is maybe you'd put this at the edge of your drive, or not the edge of your driveway, but halfway up your driveway, and it's a motion sensor. So if you're in the Philips ecosystem, you can set up lights to automatically turn on when you're walking up walking up your front steps or walking up your driveway. You can set this up. It does require a Philips hub, as I recommended, and it's for use with Philips Hue smart lights as well. This is normally a $50 device, and you can get it for just $34.99. And I do believe, and I wish Gal was here to verify this, but I do believe that this will work with any Zigbee style hub, like all of the other Philips Hue stuff does. So buyer beware of that. Make sure you check it out. But yeah, that is available over at Amazon. I thought this was a really neat looking device. Has anybody ever heard of the Lenovo Smart Clock?
Mm-mm.
No.
Neither had I. Apparently, this is the second generation of it. It's kind of an interesting little device. It's an alarm clock, but it comes with a wireless charger. The Lenovo Smart Clock 2 runs a Google OS. It's not the most highly customizable device in the world, but you can do stuff like listen to music on it. Obviously, you can set alarms. It'll tell you the temperature. It'll go through your Google Photos. But this is a really cool device because it also has got a smart charger next to it. So you can lay down your iPhone or your Android device on it and plug this thing in. Kind of a neat device. It's normally $90, but it's over on sale at Walmart for just $49.88, both in store and online. So if you're looking to get a smart alarm clock, but you don't want the Amazon device or something else, this might be an interesting device for you, the Lenovo Smart Clock 2 over at Walmart. And then moving on, this website called Stack Social, which I believe, Amnon, you've had specials for in the past from this company. They're a legitimate brand, legitimate service. You can get a copy of Microsoft Office Pro 2021 for both Windows and Mac for just $39.99. You'll get a key for it, and that's available over at Stack Social. A really good deal if you're needing a new copy of Office for your Windows or Mac. Next up here is a 30,000, yes, not a 3,000, a 30,000 milliamp charger from a company known as ROMOS, ROMOSS. And this thing has got a plethora of ports on it. So it's got an input via either micro USB you can use to charge it. You can use Lightning to charge it, or you could use a Type C to charge it. And then output wise, it's got two USB Type A's. One is a USB 1, one is a USB 2, and then a Type C that you can also use, which supports charging laptops and things like that. This is normally a $57 smart charger. It's listed for $39.99, and then there's a 40% coupon on Amazon, which brings the price all the way down to $24. You can charge up to 3 devices simultaneously with this thing. It takes about 11 hours for this thing to recharge because it is 30,000 milliamps. But you can get 4 charges out of a Nintendo Switch, 12 and a half charges out of an iPhone 8, 7 and a half charges out of a Samsung S9, and 4 full charges on an iPad Pro. So this thing will run for literally ever. It's got 12,000 reviews on Amazon. A really, really good device.
Do they say how much it weighs?
Let's see if you can talk for a second. I can tell you that it weighs just over about 1.5 pounds. So it's not a light device. Yeah. It's bulky. You can tell by looking at it, but it's 30,000 milliamps.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's going to be a little bit of a chunky device. But yeah, you can. This is. I might pick this up. I don't need it, but damn, 30,000 milliamps for $25 is a pretty good price. You can check that out over at Amazon. Next up, as Katie mentioned, specials is shit you don't need. Well, here you go. Here is a pack of 6 12-gauge wire in colors green, blue, yellow, red, black, and white. All of these are 100-foot spools. So this is 600 feet of wire, 12 volt, which can be used for in your car, trailer lights, audio. It's not for high voltage, but you can do a whole bunch of stuff with 12-gauge wire.
I'm getting it.
Okay, well, perfect. There you go. Amnon's going to buy it. This is normally $43 for this pack. Again, it's 6 packs of 100-foot wire for just $15. So if you're doing things, I know, Amnon, you could use this for security.
All kind of stuff. You know, I mean, I have a box full of old wire that I always just like strip. Take one
Well, then there you go. You
conductor.
can get this and then throw out your box of old wire.
Yeah, this
I
is
got
great.
excited. I thought it was a filament for a 3D printer.
It is not filament for a 3D printer,
I was like,
unfortunately.
ooh, that's such a
Nick,
good
where is
price.
this?
This is at Amazon.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this is at Amazon. There's different styles of packs. You can get a 2-pack, a 4-pack, bonded. You can get.
No, this is great. Different colors. You can. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was my girlfriend was sitting in the office this morning when I was compiling specials, and I was like, "Oh, this is a really good deal." And she goes, "Don't you already have a whole bunch of wire sitting in the closet?" And I said, "Yes." And she told me I could not buy it. So, yeah, this is this is obviously, if you need it, you need it. If you don't, you probably don't need 600 feet of wire. But again, check this out over at Amazon. A really good price on that. Speaking of smart televisions, maybe you pick up that Vizio television and you need a device for it, like a Fire TV Stick. Here's the Fire TV Stick 4K Max, which supports Wi-Fi 6 and has got the Amazon remote with the A-word support built into it. Normally $54.99. You can save a couple of bucks on it over at Amazon, $39.99. And if you have an old Amazon Fire TV Stick that you don't use anymore, you want to trade in, you can get an additional 20% off when you trade in another Amazon product. So you could potentially get this for as low as just about 20 after tax. It comes out to like $27 for a brand new Fire TV 4K Max. You can check that out over, obviously, at Amazon. And then two final things that you probably also don't need as well. Here's a 100-foot Southwire, which is Home Depot's brand of a wire, but it's actually sold at Walmart, which is very interesting. This is normally $100 extension cord. This is an outdoor heavy-duty extension cord that's got a light-up end so that you can see it if it's plugged in for just $49. I'm sure Amnon's going to pick this thing up as well.
I've got one.
Okay, well, there you go. It's
great.
moisture and sun-resistant. Southwire makes good stuff. Check that out over at Walmart for $49. And there's only one reason that this next product is in here. This is the Medea 12,000 BTU air conditioning unit. Now, why is this in here? Well, it is smart. It connects to Wi-Fi, and you can control this device from your phone. You can set the temperature, you can turn it on and off. And, we talk a lot about smart thermostats, but if you are in a situation or an area where you don't have central air conditioning, well, maybe you want to have a smart air conditioner. This is a hell of a deal. This is normally a $400 AC. 12,000 BTUs. Amnon, back me up. Is a big unit.
Absolutely.
It's just $200.
Yeah.
So if maybe you've got an office or something like that you need to cool, or maybe you've got a shed or something that you want to put an air conditioner in. This thing is a monster unit, and it connects to Wi-Fi. It's also got a device they call their Comfort Sense remote, which is not only a remote, but it's also a remote sensor. So you have the air conditioner on one side of the unit that you're in. Maybe it's maybe you built an outdoor area or something like that. And then you have this remote on the other side of the room. Not only can you control it, but it also acts as a remote sensor for the device. So you can have it change the temperature based off the remote sensor. This is a pretty neat looking unit, and it's literally 50% off, $200 over at Walmart. It's on rollback, and it is also Wi-Fi connected. Reviews do indicate that it is loud. It is a 12,000 BTU unit, so it is going to be a little loud. There is a energy efficient mode that apparently brings down the sound a little bit, but it's a loud unit. It's a window air conditioner. It also works with a Google Assistant and Amazon A-word, so you can use that device as well. Pretty neat. Check it out over at Walmart.
Very nice.
Yeah, some interesting products for this week.
Yeah.
And I just purchased that battery
Charger.
Yeah, might as well. Never hurts to have a
No. I mean, this is a good thing to have. And I was just thinking, I mean, especially like a family going on vacation and the kids in the car, sheesh, here.
Yep. So there you go.
The only thing that could have made it better is if it also had solar charger built on it. But
One can
But this
one
is-
can wish.
yeah, yeah.
So,
All right, Nick. Thanks.
It'll be here. Oh, it says next Monday. We'll see if maybe it'll come earlier, and I'll have a review for you for next week.
Very, very nice. Remember, guys, our number is 919-518-9773. Feel free to call in if you have any question or comment. This is getting, that's a new high kind of. Albania cut diplomatic ties with Iran.
Albania or Albany?
No, Albania. And expelled the country's embassy staff over a major cyber attack nearly 2 months ago that was allegedly carried out by Tehran on Albanian government websites. So they said, okay, you're doing that? Get out of here. We don't want to be friends anymore. That's neato. I think it's something like this could really hurt. And they are a NATO member. Those of you that use Chrome, Google has released Chrome 105.05.195, blah, 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 102, for Windows, Mac, and Linux users to address a single high-severity security flaw. The sixth Chrome zero-day exploited in attacks patched this year. So it's always a good idea when you go. I mean, Chrome does it on its own, but if you just click the three dots, go to Help and About, it will tell you if you have the latest one or if you need to.
Yeah, I need to do an update. I've had my computer on for a couple of weeks, and my Chrome is red right now, and it says update. So I'll reboot after the show.
Yeah. This is good, and hopefully others will follow. One of the strictest internet privacy law in the United States has withstood a legal challenge as a group of telecommunications providers has dropped its bid to overturn the Maine standard. Maine is in the state, Maine. Maine created one of the toughest rules in the nation for internet service providers in 2020 when it began enforcing an opt-in web privacy standard. The law stops the service providers from using, disclosing, selling, or providing access to customers' personal information without permission. Industry associations swiftly sued with the claim that the new law violated their First Amendment rights. A federal judge rejected that challenge, but legal wrangling continued. The groups, which include the country's biggest telecommunication providers, filed to dismiss the lawsuit on September 2nd. That's coming from Attorney General Aaron Frey there. He said the state's privacy law held up despite the efforts of an army of industry lawyers organized against us. And now other states can follow Maine's lead. Maine's legislator wisely sought to protect Maine residents by restricting the disclosure and use of their most private and personal information. Now,
Wait
Go
a
ahead.
minute. Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
The internet provider was suing because they said that their First Amendment right was being violated because they wanted to sell and use their customers' data?
Right.
What?
Well, I'm sure there is some kind of a thing that they can do that. Otherwise, the lawyers wouldn't have said that.
Oh,
But yeah, it
no,
doesn't
that
make sense
blows-
to us. Right.
No, that blows my mind.
Yep.
Like getting that's like hospitals that want to sell patient data to
Uh-huh.
pharmacy companies and like, this is my First Amendment right to use
Yep.
our customers' data. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry.
And the law doesn't say that they cannot do it. The law says that it has to be an opt-in, meaning your customer has to say they want their information to be shared.
Oh
If
my
the customer
God.
says that, then it's okay. Right now, it's the other way around. It's no, you
What?
have to check something. No, I don't want my information checked. That's opt out.
Yeah, yeah,
So they
yeah.
say no, it has to be opt in. You do, because many people don't read. They just check, check, check. Come on, let forget it. So that's good
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for users.
Yeah, I'm still speechless and blown away
No,
by
well,
the audacity to call it against their First Amendment.
yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait, this is more complicated. I just thought of something. If it's a company that's saying that, right? So this opens up a whole can of worms. Does a company have constitutional rights the same as individuals? Right? Do companies
Huh?
have First Amendment rights?
I'm
Because then
I'm I'm no lawyer, so I have no idea where they
because
stand on that.
well,
I don't know.
because if they decide that these have rights or whatever, then that opens up a whole other can of worms where like then they become they have to follow the rules of individual citizens, right? So like tax stuff and all this other like I don't know any of this stuff, but I know that there's been a lot of legal battles to say that companies aren't people or companies are people and they want people rights. Like that I'm blown away.
Yeah.
Speechless.
I mean, in the meantime, with all these kind of forums, they can go fishing.
Fishing. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they're fishing for user data. That's what they're doing.
Yep.
Man, you just got me worked up. I'm like, screw these companies. What the heck? I
Yeah,
don't
but they're
even
all
know.
doing it. They're all doing it.
Yeah, it's just in my
Yeah.
head. I have this cartoon of like Spectrum showing up to a judge, and they're breaking my First Amendment right, and the judge is like, aren't you a company? I don't care. Bear arms, right to bear arms.
Yeah. Um, Ireland data privacy regulator has agreed to levy a record fine of 405 million euros, which is $402 million, against social network Instagram following an investigation into its handling of children data.
Mm.
A spokesperson for the watchdog said Instagram plans to appeal against the fine. A spokesperson for parent Meta platform said in an email statement. The investigation, which started in 2020, focused on child users between the age of 13 and 17 who were allowed to operate business accounts, which facilitated the publication of the user's phone number and or email address. We adopted our final decision last Friday, and it does contain a fine of 405 million euros. That's what the lead regulator of Ireland said. Uh, this is unbelievable.
Mm. I
It's about time.
yeah. This actually reminds me of the case for YouTube. Um, I can't remember the specific instance, but or what the name of the YouTube channels were, but there's YouTube channels where the parents were basically extorting their children for monetization. Um, and it was like shady practices where like
Mhm.
they're using their kids to market and get money and all this stuff. And I don't know exactly what happened with that. I think maybe a lot of them got banned or whatever, but I agree. I think these websites need to crack down on these influencers that are using their children, or in the same instance to protect kids from just the craziness of online stuff.
Well,
And I know Europe has, I think they have stricter laws when it comes to children on social media. Because I know with like paparazzi and stuff, they're not allowed to like take pictures of celebrity kids over there. And then I think in the States, I don't know if it's changed recently, but they could like take pictures of whatever. It's like once the celebrity is out in the public, they're like free reign. But in Europe, they shut that down. They're like, no, protect the kids. You're not allowed to like post
mhm,
pictures or of the children and stuff like that. Which I agree. Like, leave kids alone.
yeah. All right, now let me tell you about a situation that I came across last Friday. A friend customer called and said that they had uh, a problem with the computer and they wanted to know if I can clean it up. So, in talking, turns out he had a problem logging in to his eBay account. So he figured, okay, I'm going to call eBay and see what's the problem. So he went on Google and he typed eBay phone number, got a phone number and called it. It wasn't eBay.
It wasn't.
It was not. And that's
Oh,
the thing that those scammers do.
yeah, yeah.
They may buy keywords so they're listed first. I think
Yeah.
whenever you go and you try to search for a company, for a website of a company, for a phone number of a company, don't just look at the meat of the search results. Look at where is it going to go? Where is it getting it from?
Mhm,
Because in the search results, there is a link at the top,
mhm.
and then there is some explanation, some verbiage. So he got a company that was not eBay, and it's the old story. They are so good. They got him to uh, let them on to his machine
Oh no.
and download and install any disk and all of that kind of stuff. But then when they got a little bit more, I mean, they stayed connected for an hour. I don't know what they did for an hour.
Mhm.
Uh, but when it got to some more personal information, it said, you're going too far. Thank you. And he turned off the machine, which is good.
Mhm.
There were a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff in there that shouldn't have been there, but and it took a lot of long time to do all kind of scans to get in there and find this and find that.
Did he lose anything? Like, did he
No,
lose
not that I know
money?
of, not yet. I
Okay.
mean, he'll let me
Wow.
know because I don't know what was in there to begin with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but they didn't like hack into his bank account or anything like that.
That's the thing. He didn't. He was saying that he doesn't do in Firefox. There were only two uh, safe password. There was
Mm,
eBay and there was GameStop.
okay.
And we went ahead and changed the password for eBay. And he said, I don't know why GameStop is here, so we just deleted it.
Mhm.
So they couldn't have gotten something from there. Of course, they've got all kind of ways to do things like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But the
yeah.
point here is, first of all, I'm sure if you go to just ebay.com, you can get their phone number from somewhere on the page. You don't have to log in right away. It we are all becoming so lazy that okay, yeah, like just give me the number.
I
I
I sort of agree, but I also sort of disagree
okay.
because you think it's easy to find companies' numbers and websites, and And sometimes it is, but I've done what this person's done. I've gone to eBay and I've asked for the customer service number. I think I did that with like PayPal or something. And the reason why is because I wanted a specific department's phone number to talk to a person. I didn't want a robot. So I kept getting like I would like for instance I'd get eBay's phone number, like yeah, you could go to contact us and it would send it to eBay's corporation, but it wouldn't be necessarily customer service. So I went on Google and I'll type in eBay customer service phone number for North America or US or whatever. And you're right, it will come up with numbers, but I verify that those are the right numbers. And by doing that, like you said, when you Google it, because Google is really fast and quick, and I feel like you should use it as a tool to find this information. But know that as easy it is to find the right information, it's
Right.
easy enough to find bad information.
It's easier to find the bad one.
Yeah, so you have to do some detective work. So you
Right.
find the number,
Well,
and like you said, 9 times out of 10, Google will have a link. Or if it just gives you a number without a link, usually underneath the search results, it'll say like eBay's contact, like a web page where eBay keeps it stored on their website. I'll click on that link and it'll take me to where I want to go, and I'll have a list of phone numbers I can call.
and
So
and when you do that, you need to make sure that that's where you are.
exactly. So I don't want people not to like use Google, but you have to be aware and you have to be smart and don't just automatically trust, because Google's just a tool, an aggregation tool, right? It's just doing the search for you, but it's not verifying the information per se. I mean, maybe sometimes it is, I don't know, but like you just gotta just don't pick the first one. Do a little more research.
Be more what's the word I'm looking for? Interact with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you are getting the right information.
Yeah, I think mine was PayPal now that I think about it, because I just could not find their phone number online at the time when I was doing it. Like I went
But
to
see, that's the
contact
problem.
us.
This is self-inflicted by these companies because they don't want you calling.
Right.
them.
That's
They
the problem.
bury the
Yeah.
numbers,
Yeah.
they hide them, and then you go to Google and search for it, and then you get compromised. This is their own freaking fault.
Yeah, I mean, when I have a problem with Amazon, I want to call them, and I could never find it on the page. The
Oh
number.
yeah, forget about it.
So I go to Google and I find it, but I always, and every time I do it, I look at the link again and every time. It's not like, and I remember the number, but I look. It's a habit.
Yeah.
Look where you ended up. I had another friend of mine that went to Walmart and started buying things and adding it to the cart, and did research of prices on Walmart, and at the same time on the side window also on other stores to make sure that he's got. So it took him a couple of hours, and he said, "Okay, now I want to buy it." And somehow it something happened to the cart. Now it's been a couple of years, so I don't remember what, but he was trying to go back to his account and there was nothing in the cart. And I said, that's impossible. You know, you have a cookie, they have some, because I mean, many times when I go to buy something and I add to the cart, if you don't buy it, an hour later say, hey, you forgot something in your cart. Turns out, if you need to go to Walmart, what do? Katie?
Go to walmart.com.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I see it again and again when people call me, or when I talk to people and try to help them, and I said, just go to Microsoft.com. And okay, I'm there. Which one should I click on? I said, what do you mean which one you should click on? He said, there's a bunch of Microsoft things here. I said, where did you type the Microsoft.com? He said, in the Google search. I said, no. If you know the number, the address, go directly there. I said, where do I do it? I said, look up above where it says HTTP. said,
Yeah,
"Oh,
people don't type in the bars anymore.
well, that's the
The browser bar.
problem is that, and you explain to people, this is just like you want to call when before you called me, did you call information and ask for my number? He said, no, I know your number, so I dialed it. I said, well, it's the same thing here. You know where you're trying to go. Walmart.com, Microsoft.com. You don't put it in a search to come up to tell you where you know where it's at. A lot of people do that.
Yeah. You know what's funny is you say that, but I do that exact same thing. Like if I go to Walmart, I type in Walmart in the browser bar and then
Yeah.
it automatically connects to Google. But before I click on whatever link I'm looking for, I make sure it says walmart.com.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah. That does happen. You're right.
yeah. Yeah, I do that quite a lot and mostly because if you aren't shopping for at the big companies, say you're shopping at what is it called, boutiques or local stores, sometimes their URLs aren't open or available. I mean, the internet's been, their domain, the internet has been open for a long time, so not everybody's domain name will link exactly to it. Like for instance, Steam. If anybody uses Steam, you think you type in steam.com, but it's not. They have Steam powered. I think it's called steampowered.com.
Steam powered, yeah.
Yeah, but I go to Google and I type in Steam, and then I check and look for the one that is the right Steam. So, but I agree. Make sure you know where you're clicking.
Yeah.
Like, all you gotta do is read it and see where it's taking you.
And don't just kind of glance at it, because many of these, if they are professional, most of them are, they may have a domain name called ebay.com, but it's ebey.
Yeah.
With Microsoft there was something, it was Microsoft, and it looks, if you just glance, it looks right.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you are on the page that you meant to be on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are, I mean, luckily there was not much damage on the computer.
This is the eBay guy, not the Walmart
Yeah.
dude. Okay.
And no, the Walmart guy was nothing, because all he did is he went there. It's not like somebody got on his
Oh.
machine.
Well,
He had,
yeah, but it sounded
What?
like something happened because his cart disappeared.
yeah, but it wasn't like anything that somebody did. I mean, he did
Okay.
something or whatever. But the thing here is, he didn't even have to click on that eBay scam email that is circulating. He
Yeah.
called them. He searched for it and he got the wrong result.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get him to send money through Wise. It was just, I mean, at the end, it kind of looked suspicious to him. So he said, "No, that's enough. Bye."
Yeah.
It wasn't cheap to fix it, but he's lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, he's it sounds like he's smart though for not saving his passwords and
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
so even though the hackers got into his computer,
Mhm.
it sounds like it was like the best case scenario that could have happened, because it sounds like they weren't able to get access to anything.
Hopefully they didn't do
knock on wood.
anything, because
Yeah.
if they put something in there that is going to sleep for a while and then come back to life, there's no way to find that out. I mean, because the only thing you can do, I mean, unless you go file by file on the machine, which will take days, antivirus, anti-spyware, all these programs that I was running, I mean, they found a few in the beginning, and that was it. But
If
I'm
it was
thinking,
me, I would wipe the computer completely clean. I've just
well,
reinstall Windows.
we would, well, no, you can do some other stuff. You can, the first thing that I would do if something comes back is restore from a restore point previous to when this happened. Because that kind of like,
Yes, but hold on.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of different things to note with the compromise like this.
Yeah.
One is the physical computer, right?
Right.
The software, the applications that. But then there's also the data side of it. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, save passwords in
right.
Outlook,
No. Yeah.
or save passwords in Google, save this and there. That stuff, you do a restore point,
Yeah,
that doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't change
None
it.
of that matters.
You have to go and change all your passwords. If you have any passwords that's restored on the computer, you need to go change. And if you do banking on that computer, you need to definitely go and change your password for the bank. Yeah, but the thing was that he did not do any financial on this computer. Everything he was doing on his laptop. And he said the laptop was off. I didn't even have it on because I only turn it on when I need to use it. So that was lucky too. But if something, I'm at this point, I'm confident that there's nothing running there that is dangerous. But if something happens in the next week or two, then it's a system restore. And then it'll be completely reformat and reinstall Windows and all that.
Mm. I must be extreme in my views because
And
I'm like one and done. If something happened, I'm like, reset everything, wash it. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I just want it all. I don't even want to worry about it. Just scrub it.
Let me ask you
clean.
this though, Katie.
Yeah.
Do you do most of your stuff in browser?
Well, I use browsers a lot, but
Yeah, but like for example, like I know you've got Photoshop and everything like that, right?
yeah.
What about all your like presets, all of your brushes, all of that,
No,
all of your
that's
type
all.
fonts?
All of that stuff is stored on the cloud service.
So so in your case, yeah, it makes perfect sense to do it.
Yeah.
If you
And
have a lot of stuff on your computer, typefaces and brushes and fonts for Photoshop or all this stuff, it's such a pain in the ass to reformat and refresh. That's why people just
yeah,
don't do it.
so the software I use is so intense and heavy on the computer that I don't even store stuff on my computer per se, like photos and all that stuff. I store it on the cloud or I have a hard drive because I need the space. Like I always need at least like 100 gigs just to work in After Effects, just because I'm doing hardcore renders and all this stuff. So I need the free space. And then I also use my computer for gaming, and so like any kind of data, I keep it on the cloud service or a hard drive or whatever to free up that space. So yeah, to me, wiping my whole computer, I can just reinstall the games. Like it's not a big deal. I could just reinstall the software. Yeah, so that would be my solution. I guess that makes sense if somebody doesn't use cloud services and they have to restart their computer, they'll lose all their data.
yeah, and you and that customer have something in common, Katie.
Oh God, we
Yep.
use eBay.
Hmm?
We use eBay.
No, he listened to Nick also, and he bought a speaker.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's great, y'all. Like, I know it's expensive, but I use it every day, and took it into the shower and used it, and it was so good. It was worth the money. Worth the money.
Yep. All right. Well, Android 13 has recently hit the streets. And with it, Google is raising the minimum requirements for Android phones. Google's latest blog post announced that the minimum amount of RAM for Android Go, the low end version of Android, is now 2 gig for Android 13, whereas previously it was 1 gig. They also claim that the minimum storage requirements have been bumped up to 16 gig, though Google doesn't seem to have publicly documented this anywhere. The increase in system requirements means any phone that doesn't meet the minimum specs won't be able to update to Android 13. New
That's how they get you.
phones, huh?
So that's how they get you.
Well,
They're forcing people with older phones to upgrade.
new phones launching with Android 13 will need to meet the minimum requirement to be eligible for Play Store licensing, though launching with an older version of Android with lower requirement will still be an option for a while. Technically, anyone can grab the Android source code and build anything with it. But if you want to license the Google apps and have access to the Google trademark brand Android, you'll need to comply with Google's rules. So, interesting.
Mhm.
I don't know when's the last time that they raised these.
So is this for like individual phones? They
Phones,
need
the
to
phone,
be newer phones.
Yeah, the phone. If you know how your phone does an update,
Yeah.
so
Huh.
if you want to upgrade to Android 13, apparently you have to have minimum of 2 gig.
Yeah. On one hand, I understand why, because it gets to the point where the applications you're trying to run don't work on older phones.
Right.
So I get it.
Yeah.
It's that balance between, okay, are they forcing me to upgrade? That would be kind of annoying. But if you have a super old phone, and again, I don't have an Android, but I'm just gonna translate this into iPhone. If I have an iPhone 4 or an iPhone 5 or 6, and I want to use the features or the technology that's in 12, 13, 14, and I'm talking like apps and stuff, then yes, it would make sense that they wouldn't run on the older phones because that's a big span of time for the technology to get better. So I could see that why you would want to upgrade. But if it's a difference between, I don't know, versions 13 and 14 or 12 and 13, then I would have a problem because I'm like, come on now, like I just bought a new phone and or like saved money on a phone that was like a year older, and now I got to get a new one to use the new stuff. That would kind of
Yeah.
tick me off.
And
That's
you
why
never know if it's true that you needed the newer phone, but they can set it up so it will not run right on older phones, just like Apple had the thing with the battery that was.
that was ridiculous, and I was a
Yeah,
victim of that.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's kind of a toss up. Uh, I would hope so. The biggest thing, so like if you don't use your phone that much, or you just use it purely as a phone and not as like an entertainment device, so you don't really care about the apps and all that fancy
right,
stuff, then I could see why would I need to
right,
upgrade? I just use it as a phone.
exactly.
But if it gets to the point where the security is at risk, then I could see why you would want to upgrade. And I think that's what your article that you read last week, I think, was Apple was forcing people to upgrade their
Yeah,
4, 5, and 6s because the security is too old. I think that at that point you definitely have to upgrade your phone. But I will almost would it would be better to if the company has allowed the consumer to make that decision. So I don't need to have a new phone because I don't need all the new shiny gizmos and stuff, but I would need a new phone for security
hmm,
reasons.
yeah. I know that Hannah is my daughter is building something that will make her Dexcom glucose monitor talk to her insulin pump and tell it what to do when. Now, it already exists, but it's not tight enough. And there's a group of people that is doing this uh, to really make it so it works better. She's got an iPhone. So she needs to, you need to develop some stuff to compile some things. And you have to have a Mac. So I had an older MacBook Air. That's what they call it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was having a problem updating it to the operating system that needs to run. But she figured out how to do it. And there are all kind of patches. Apple will not let you do it. But if a patch will allow you to do it, why can't Apple allow you to do it? Then to massage these utilities that are going to do some of these operations, it was taking hours to render the equivalent of a render. And she said that's worthless. I mean, every time they come up with a new update to the iPhone, I need to redo this, and it takes almost a day, 2 days to do this. So I started looking on Craigslist for Mac computers, and they're not that expensive. I said, here, which one, used ones, which ones of these will work for you? She said that. I figured the problem. I needed to get a graphic patch for the MacBook Air, like a driver patch.
Yeah.
And now it is lightning fast. All these patches are written by third parties, by users who figured out how to do it. She said, now if I need to do it, it'll take me about 15 minutes to do it.
Wow.
Okay, so why didn't Apple do that originally? So people will buy new ones.
Yep. Yeah. Well, this brings back our conversation we had early on in the show. People could use it, but are they going to make money off of it? No. So why would they spend their time and resources patching old stuff when they can just work on the new stuff?
Right.
So it's the same thing. I'm actually surprised to hear that people can patch and hack into Apple machines and like, cause my understanding is always that, Apple, it was great because out of the box it worked, but you couldn't customize it. But it sounds like you can, like you can hack into it and do your own stuff.
Apparently, there are people out there that really wanted to use, because I mean, she said, I'm not going to buy a Mac computer just so I'll have to do just for this.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can find a Mac that will be late enough that you can run it on for about 300, 250.
Yeah.
So that I said, well, that's worth it. Since she spent so much time and some money on boards that are part of it. And it's funny, but the iPhone now has a box that's about maybe almost an inch thick on the back of it. Smaller, but it still takes that room. It's almost like one of those things that you stick on a phone to hold it in between your fingers, so it doesn't, something like that. But
I got one of those on my phone.
It's nice. I mean, and she claims, and I read about it, that people are saying that it keeps their diabetes in such good control that it's unbelievable. And it's good because now the companies are doing it. But in order to get FDA approved, they have to stay, they cannot be really tight. They can't lower the glucose level lower than like 120 or something like that. She wants to bring it even lower. And you can when they do it their way.
It's crazy and pretty cool that she has to become like an Apple developer.
Yeah, and she had to pay license.
That's
to do
exactly
this.
why I stayed away from. So I do Unity and I do some video gaming and or make video games in Unity a little bit. I dabble in that, and I stayed away from iPhone apps and iPad apps because it's such a pain in the butt um, to get something working. So if you make a PC game, it's super easy. Like in Unity, you build building the game's not easy, but when it comes to exporting the game out to have it run on whatever system you want it to run on, a PC is easy. You tell Unity, "Hey, I want it to run on a PC." And it goes, "Okay," you select the settings, blah blah blah, and then it builds the game out for your PC, and then boom, you can play it on your computer and you can test it really quick.
Mhm.
On the iPhone and Apple products, it's like if before you could even test it, it's like you have to make a developer account, you have to get approved, you have to do this, that,
Yep.
and other thing. It's not just plug and play. So I was like, I don't want to worry about this. This is too much work. So um but yeah, that's cool that she's going through all that. I mean, like she's doing it and figuring it out. Cause
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. And Alan is saying that should be up to the person's own doctor to decide. Yeah. But FDA says, okay, this is how it needs to be. And and they build it to a situation where you cannot screw it in some more. That's it. It's, hey, you can't do that. And I understand. I mean, the danger from lower blood sugar are more dangerous than higher blood sugars. Well, higher blood sugars on long term is bad too, but a low can really do damage quick. So I understand why the FDA says that, but there's all kind it's amazing. All these hobbyists that do this, they built so much uh, uh, safeties into it that Hannah is a very responsible person, and she would not do it if it wasn't safe. And people have been doing it now for about a year, and they all just brag about how nice it is. So it's good, yeah. Um, here's something that people need to know about. Network hardware maker Qnap is urging customers to update their network attached storage devices immediately to protect them from a new wave of ongoing ransomware attacks that can destroy terabytes of data in a single stroke. Singapore based Qnap said recently that it has identified a new campaign from a ransomware group known as Deadbolt. The attacks take aim at Qnap NAS devices that use a proprietary feature known as Photo Station. The advisory instructs customers to update their firmware, suggesting there is a vulnerability that's underexploited, but the company makes no explicit mention of a CVE designation that security professionals use to track such security flow. It's too early in the process, so there is no CVE number yet. But if your company, I mean, I don't know many people that have a QNAP NAS at home, but if your company is using it, make sure that they know about this. Let's see what else we have here. Here's something. The Los Angeles Unified School District has confirmed it was hit by a ransomware attack that is causing ongoing technical disruptions. It is the second largest school district in the U.S. after New York City Department of Education. The system serves over 600,000 students spanning from kindergarten through 12th grade at over 1,000 schools and employs more than 26,000 teachers. That's a massive system. The district said on Monday that it was hit by a cyber attack over the weekend. This is last weekend, Labor Day, which it later confirmed was ransomware. Although the attack caused significant disruption to its infrastructure, the district said it will resume classes on Tuesday. after observing Labor Day on Monday, while it works to restore impacted services. It said that it does not expect technical issues to impact transportation, food, or after school programs, but noted that business operations may be delayed or modified. It warned that ongoing disruptions include access to email, computer system, and applications. While a post from Northridge Academy High, a school in the district, confirmed that teachers and students might be unable to access Google Drive and Schoology, a K through 12 learning management system, until further notice. So here is a school that, I mean, and another article said that they were warned that this is going to happen.
I'm just like, why go after a public school system, I guess. It's maybe what happened is a student that graduated, or no, yeah, maybe a student graduated with a C in a class and he didn't get into the college of his choice, so he tried to go back.
No,
and switch to an A.
these are
What is this? War games? Hacking into the school's computer to change the system, change the grades.
I mean, it's not like a oil company pipeline or whatever. Like you hold it for ransom and like you're gonna try to get millions of dollars.
I'll tell you the reason they go after schools. Because if they can get social security numbers for kids, they can open lines of credit and they won't find out about it.
Oh.
Children are the best identities to steal.
Well, dang, that's
because
depressing.
you won't. If you go and grab a 11-year-old's a social security number and identity, when realistically an 11-year-old is not going to pull any sort of credit, anything until they're probably 18.
Then why in the world can they create credit cards?
A social security number doesn't have a date. It doesn't have a birth date associated with it. It's just a number.
You have to have a social security when you're born.
Yeah. I understand that, but like,
Why?
You put in a social. So what does that mean? Your credit stuff is linked to just your social security number, like that? Because that doesn't make any sense. Because I feel like if it's like what I understand or what I thought is that your social security is linked to your first and last name and at least your birthday. And so if wouldn't it be easy to make a system where like the credit card system where like, okay, this is a person that's applying for a credit card. Here's their social security number. Wait a minute. Their birth date says that they were born in 2011. They're not old enough to get a credit card. We shouldn't give them a credit card. Is that too hard?
I'm not sure that social security number is associated with a birthday.
It's associated with a person, but that's
I don't think date of birth is associated.
Yeah, I don't know. But the thing is, there are some 11 and 12 and 14s that have credit cards. The parents say, okay, here's a credit card.
Yeah,
but it's not normally in their name, though. It's in the parents'
name. Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
Well, I haven't really gotten into this, but or researchers or whatever. But I think they co-sign it or whatever.
The point that Nick is trying to make here is that Social Securities from young kids like that is like quote unquote virgin.
No, I get it.
And
I understand that.
And nobody's monitoring it.
Yeah, because you're not actively pulling out credit.
So nobody knows about it until it's too late.
Yeah, but why are credit card companies allowing just a social? If you just need a social security number to get a credit card, that's a failure on the system.
They don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe whoever's in charge of the government, whatever, needs to make it a law where they have to have the birth date.
I'm sure Joe Biden will get right on that. He's very competent with everything else. I'm sure he'll jump right on that.
I mean, that's blowing my mind. I just didn't feel like it was that easy to.
But no, that is a big thing. And I'll tell you what else. Where else it happens too is children. You've got scumbag parents that will take out and open lines of credit under their children's name.
Yep.
I've heard of that.
That is very common.
And it's awful, and I've seen news articles about that, and I thought that they were able to do it as the parent because they had all the children's information.
Nope, just able to do the same way as a third party.
They're the guardians.
That it should not be that easy to just get a credit card. All you need is what is the social security 9 numbers or something?
Yeah, well, you do need to confirm the some of the other information with it for sure.
Oh yeah, first and last name and social security, but not your birthday.
Correct, which would make a school a great place to go if they're holding on to your social security number.
Oh Lord have mercy. I can't take it this early Sunday. This is too much.
It's not even early anymore, Katie. It's 11 o'clock.
Anything before noon is early. Until after I had lunch, then I'm good to function.
I mean, talking about social securities and all that and identity theft and stuff, I always wondered, why can't they give you a new social security number?
Yes.
Keep the old one on the file
Yeah.
to cross-reference that you know. But from now on, nothing
Keep it on
can
whose
be
file?
opened.
Keep it on whose file?
Social Security.
Well, obviously they have the information, right? Because you're
So
No.
then-
Let's put it this way.
What-
It should be everywhere at the Experian and all these places, but it cannot be acted on. I cannot submit it to do anything.
That is a recipe for disaster. What
Why?
you're asking for. Now you're asking company. Now you're asking for association. A social security number is a unique identifier.
Right.
So you're asking for somebody to generate a new unique identifier, but then also be able to cross-reference the old unique identifier.
Just to see I mean,
No,
for
that's not how it
record.
works. It's a unique identifier.
Yeah. Well,
A unique identifier is what it is, a unique identifier. So if you create a new one, it is a new person. They could give you a new social security number, theoretically, but you would be a whole new person in the eyes
yeah,
of
that cannot
credit
be.
and everything else.
Yeah, but you see, from taxes and all that, that's not going to work.
Okay. Exactly. So that's it. Inherently, by what the system is, that's not a thing.
Yeah. Well,
and John says date of birth is part of the social security record when it's created. Yeah, I did see that. So then it begs the question even further: how is this stuff being done?
Exactly. There we go. Okay. So the credit card companies are just dumb.
They're dumb, or let's be. Katie, I know it's too early for you, but they don't care. It's not their problem.
they don't.
Their goal is they have insurance. Their goal is to dole out credit. They don't give a shit what you do.
Yeah, but
with
they
it.
don't get
care
their
if you're
money.
a fraudster. It doesn't matter.
Katie,
If it turns out to be fraud, they open a claim with their insurance company and they get the money back. They don't care.
Okay, well then the insurance company should crack down on this
because the insurance company is backed by the federal government, so they don't care either. Nobody cares. This is all because we've created a system in which nobody actually is held responsible for anything. The credit card company doesn't care because they've got the insurance company. The insurance company doesn't care because they get backed by the federal government. The federal government doesn't care because they just make money.
Print money.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
All right.
Katie,
now
yesterday
we're having depressing hour.
Katie,
What?
yesterday when you were here, we were talking about you buying a new house and the loans and all that, and you were saying that you can get a loan with no down payment, no credit checks.
Yep.
Right? Can you believe that, Nick?
Yeah, of course, because the banks don't care. They'll just go to the insurance company. They'll foreclose on your house, go to the insurance company, which is backed by the FDIC, and get their money back. Nobody cares. It's all fake money. Abolish the Federal Reserve. That is the solution to our problem. You want to not have kids' credit cards, getting credit cards created in their name? Go after the Federal Reserve and get rid of FDIC. That's the solution to the problem. Because then the credit card companies, like you said, Katie, would actually give a shit who they were lending money to. They would actually want to verify something about you besides just, oh, you have a social security number. Who cares?
Yep.
There's no reason for them to care. Zero.
Dang. Amon, you're gonna have to say some good news after this. It just got depressing.
No,
He's going to say it's about that time again.
it is time to go, and the other thing is today's 9/11, so it's there's not much good news other than
it's my parents' anniversary today.
Huh?
Oh,
It's my parents' anniversary. 30 years.
Congratulations, and I know they're listening, probably watching.
They're not listening, but they're probably not because they're driving. They're leaving a place, but yeah.
But no, there's a lot of good news and stuff, but this is not bad news because
just,
it's not. First of all, it's not news. It's
well,
just
maybe
bad.
we shouldn't end
peop-
on childhood fraud, credit cards.
Well, it is going to be
The
sunny.
American way.
It is going to be sunny tomorrow.
Oh,
No, it's
Hopefully.
not.
No, it's not. Oh,
Not here.
Nick.
Now you're just lying to me to try and make me feel better.
Oh
That
my
pisses me off
gosh.
even more.
Oh my gosh.
Anyhow,
Anywho's,
yeah. Anything else? You guys have something else to add?
yes, I've got one. No. Is God going to be back next week?
Maybe. What do you want to?
Never mind. Yeah, let me. Now I'll do it next week. It's fine. I'll do it
Okay.
next week.
All right. Fine.
Complex issue that I resolved.
Okay. Katie?
Nope. I feel wore out. My brain hurts this morning.
It's
You
too
guys-
early and
It's
you
too
feel
early,
wore
and,
out.
and he dropped a depressing bomb on
Oh,
me.
I've got good
and,
news.
Oh, tell me.
I've got good news. Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Booberry are back in grocery stores. So that's
Oh,
good news.
Good. Okay, I feel better. Instantly better. My day has
Okay.
been changed.
Yep. Just to let you know, they're back.
Anyway,
I mean,
Thanks,
I'm
guys.
excited.
what?
I said, I'm excited.
Okay. So thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie.
No problem.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together here. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And again, remember, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM. And you can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave and listen live. Or you can go to the recordings of previous shows at nickcraig.com. Tuesdays, 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast on Twitch. This is a podcast for survival games and gaming news. So 7 p.m., twitch.tv/infection podcast. One word. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.